Good afternoon, everybody. Tigerbomb Tom here with your Hell in a Cell predictions for the Pittsburgh Piledriver podcast. We've already had Beef the Legend and Poot the Bard make their picks, so we'll see how things turn out. Real quick, before I get over to where I'm at, I want to take a second and thank the sponsors. IWC Clearfield X, the show's coming up this Saturday. Don't forget to check it out. Get your tickets. We got ringside, get the ringside seats, to get the VIP package, all that good stuff. And there we go. Let me turn myself down on the other end. Yeah, because I'm a professional here. But check it out. Go get tickets. Contact Sean Tischler. You can look it up on the Facebook page. Just search IWC Clearfield X. You could go to the website. And then also, we have P3 shirts available now in Casual Gaming Dad's section of the Gould Gaming shop. So go check it out, gouldgaming.com. And check out our other sponsor, me, Casual Gaming Dad. All right, now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and get to some predictions here. All right, so this shouldn't be too long because, well, there's only four matches announced for the card tonight. So what can you do? Waiting on WWE. They're going to try to give us some last minute stuff or whatever. I don't know. But the four matches that we got that are announced are the SmackDown Women's Championship, Bayley defending against Charlotte Flair. We've got a tag team match with Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan versus Eric Rowan and Luke Harper. We've got two Hell in a Cell matches. The first one of them being Becky Lynch defending her Raw Women's title against Sasha Banks. And then the last one, last but certainly not least, we've got The Fiend Bray Wyatt challenging Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship. Hey, Retro Gaming for Life. What's going on, man? Welcome into the fray here. And I see none of the other dummies from the podcast here, so whatever. Anyways, so let's start off with and we don't know what order anything's going to be in, but let's start off with the first one. Bayley versus Charlotte. I'm thinking that Bayley's going to retain and walk out of there with the title. I'm debating on whether or not to pick Charlotte for the win, and if she gets the win by DQ and Bayley still somehow retains. But I don't think it's going to be... I don't know. I'm going to go with Bayley on this one. So I'm going to say Bayley gets the win and retains. And yeah, I just think somewhere down the road there's going to be some sort of program where they work her and actually I don't see Bayley losing it yet. I see Bayley losing it next month at Survivor Series, I bet. That's what I'm thinking. So I think she hangs on for one more victory. I think she'll get a shifty win again tonight, and then she'll lose it next month at Survivor Series. Let's see, what do we got next? We got tag match of Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan versus Luke Harper and Eric Rowan. I heard an interesting scenario that put Poot up, I can't even talk this afternoon. I'm all fluster. I heard an interesting scenario from Poot the Bard, and he's thinking that Reigns and Bryan are gonna win, and that Bryan is then gonna turn on Roman Reigns. That's interesting. It could work. But you know what? I think I'm gonna be the only one. I don't remember who Beef picked, but I'm gonna pick Rowan and Harper to win this match. I think with Harper coming back, you got to keep him looking strong. So I'm gonna say they get the win tonight over Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan. Beef's in here. What's going on, Beef? There we go. Beef, Pittsburgh Piledriver podcast zone. Beef the Legend. So yeah, I think Rowan and Harper go over on that one. As far as the two Hell in a Cell matches, Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch. I think Becky's losing that title tonight. I think Sasha's taking it. I think you're going to see Becky move over to SmackDown because there are those rumors a buzzing that that Becky and Seth are both going over to SmackDown, and I could see that happening. So, and honestly, I'm sure Fox is going to want Becky Lynch anyways. They're going to want that star power, and what Fox wants, Fox is going to get. I.e., point taken, Brock Lesnar Friday night. Need I say more? So yeah, Sasha Banks going over Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship. Real quick, guys, before I forget, we are also live on our YouTube channel as well. So don't forget to go subscribe over to the Pittsburgh Pile Driver Podcast on our YouTube channel. We are live over there, and we're live on Facebook as well right now. I got it to work. Woo! Anyways, that aside. And then the last match that we have announced is The Fiend Bray Wyatt versus Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship. This one pretty much seems like a no-brainer. You gotta have The Fiend walk out with that title tonight, because let's face it, they built him up and they've invested so much into The Fiend already. It would be foolish of them to just cut him off at the knees. It's not going to serve him well. And Robert saying, he says, I see The Undertaker attacking The Fiend leading to a match at the Crown Jewel. I don't think so. I don't see that happening. I don't know. I think Undertaker Fiend is something that if you're going to have it, it's going to be on a bigger pay-per-view, not a quote unquote network special. Besides that, there are the rumors circulating around that Edge is or is not cleared for in-ring competition. So if you're going to see anybody come back at Crown Jewel, that would be a good match there, because they had a pretty heated rivalry for a while there, Edge and Undertaker. So that could be a match at Crown Jewel that you get if Undertaker is going to show up there. But we don't even know, is he even scheduled to show up? Is he even been in the talks of anything? I haven't heard anything, so I don't know. The only thing that we know so far about Crown Jewel is there's going to be this Team Hogan versus Team Flair nonsense going on, which we discussed that in the previous episode of the Pittsburgh Pile Driver Podcast, so you can check that out then. Check that out on the plethora of platforms that we have, the YouTube channel, here on Facebook, on the Anchor app, on Spotify, on Google Podcast. So check that out and see what your take is on that whole situation. But getting back to the Hell in the Cell predictions, I say the Fiend's got to go over. I know they're kind of making it seem like how before, and I even said this before, whenever Seth was going up against Brock Lesnar for the Universal title last, and he had that, dejected, I'm gonna win, I guarantee it. And I said, there's no way that Seth is gonna win. He's gonna get crushed, and then he won. I mean, I think this is kind of almost almost the same thing, in where like it's like, oh man, Seth is really pissing his pants over the Fiend, and it seems like all hope is lost, but Seth's gonna pull it out because he's our boy. No, he's not. Seth is losing tonight, plain simple. It's got to be that way. Otherwise, like what the hell good was it to do all this big build up with the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, and all the stuff that they've been doing? Like they've been protecting him very, very well. The only time that he is quote unquote that he's lost any matches was by like a DQ or anything like that at like a house show, so a non-televised show. And I mean that doesn't hurt his character. But now whenever you get to like TV matches and pay-per-view matches and stuff like that, that's where it's going to count a lot more. So they've been protecting the Fiend very well, and I think they're going to continue to do so. And I think the Fiend is walking out with that title tonight. So, quick recap. I'm picking Bayley. I'm picking Rowan and Harper. Picking Sasha Banks. And I'm picking the Fiend. Hopefully, they're going to surprise us with some more matches, because there's only 4 matches on the card, and that seems awfully like an awfully short card, even for a Hell in a Cell. I mean, I know that the Hell in the Cell matches themselves, those both could eat up at least a good half hour or more if you pace them and book them right. But that 4 matches, I don't know why they're protecting this card as hard as they are. And if anybody has heard of any other matches off of WWE's website or Wikipedia or anything like that getting announced, please do share. But for those 4 matches that we've got, that's who I'm going with. I'm going with Bayley. I'm going with Rowan and Harper. I'm going with Sasha, and I'm going with The Fiend. So we'll get all these picks compiled. I know that'll take so long to do all 4 matches for the 3 of us. Wink. But we'll get those up there. We'll put them up on the page by the end of the night. Eli, what's going on? He says, I'm hoping for a Fiend win, but WWE loves to give Seth nicknames like, i.e. Kingslayer, Beastslayer, Monster Slayer, Fiend Slayer? Question mark? Maybe, but not in this case. I mean, and besides that, Seth is better in one of 2 roles. Seth is better as a shit-eating heel because he's better on the mic that way than he is as a good guy. Or he's better as like the underdog fighting his way up. If you're gonna book Seth as a face, he's much better as an underdog. But good guy Seth is my least favorite of those 3 scenarios. So I mean, like, his face run has been, while semi impressive, like sometimes it just falls a little flat for me personally. But that's my take on it. Now, real quick, I'm gonna break some news here. So if you tune in for the other 2 people's picks and you're not tuning in for this one, shame on you, because you never know what you're gonna get. There is Poot the Bard right there, our reigning defending cruiserweight champion of the P3 podcast. Maybe not for much longer. I don't know. Next month is gonna be a good month because there's gonna be a lot of events. We'll be picking AEW's pay-per-view, we'll be picking NXT, and we'll be picking Survivor Series. So there's be a full November card right there. Yeah, good guy Seth sucks the bag. But real quick, I want to make a couple announcements here. In the description on the YouTube video, I also have it on there. Have the link. Dave's in here. Now everybody's coming in just as I get ending. Well, okay, for those of you just coming in to recap, Poot and Dave, I'm picking Bayley, picking Rowan and Harper, Sasha, and The Fiend. Those are my picks. But now, the breaking news. 1, these fabulous Pittsburgh Piledriver podcast t-shirts, which you can't have your moniker name on the back. We're special. We get those. But you can get these over in my section of the shop over on Gould Gaming. So go over to Gould Gaming, search in Casual Gaming Dad's merchandise section, and it should be, if you have your default there by the newest product, it'll be the first one up. Front and center, Pittsburgh Piledriver podcast t-shirts available over on Gould Gaming. So go check them out. Give them your business. They're awesome. I love this shirt. I love it, love it, love it. And secondly, I normally take a break from the streaming on the weekends. But being that wrestling is on like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, hold that thought. Hang on. I had to go dad mode on the kids for a second. Anyways, being that wrestling's on when it is, and we normally record the podcast on a Tuesday night, we don't get to review NXT and AEW and SmackDown in that podcast. It'll have to be on like the following week. So coming up here in the very near future, Eli says, to be fair, I had to watch Poot's video first. To be fair, you get the idea. All right. Anyways, starting very soon. Yes, thank you, Poot. To be fair. To be fair. Yeah. So in a couple of weeks here, in very near future, I haven't set a specific date, but we'll make an announcement on the page. Your very own, yours truly, Tigerbomb Tom, is going to be taking Sunday mornings to do a quick little review of SmackDown, and if there's any high points of AEW/NXT, we're going to hit that up. And then that way we can kind of paint with a broad brush on the podcast on Tuesdays and still review Raw and whatever other topics we come up with, because Alec Ransom, the Madman, is always good for some very deep conversation talks. We had a very good one one episode, not last episode, but the one before, about Muhammad Hassan and his untimely departure from WWE and everything. So look for that coming up Sunday mornings. We'll probably do something around like 10:30. I'll figure out the final details on that, and I'm gonna try to make that a pretty regular weekly thing for you guys. But that's gonna be coming up in the future. As always, you could catch some of Poot the Bard's Fast Count news whenever there's breaking news here on Facebook, and you can also look for Beef the Legends if he decides to do them, like, you know, kind of weekend review sort of stuff. So, you know, check that out. Stay tuned, as always, to the Facebook page here. Go subscribe on YouTube. Check us out. Give us a listen on the Anchor app, Spotify, Google Podcast. There's a plethora of ways to catch us, so no excuse if you're a wrestling fan not to follow this podcast. And you can also follow us on Instagram as well. Beef's wife, thank you, Bella the Brawl, has decided to head that up for us. So follow us on Instagram, Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast. You can put it all in as one word or separated. Either way, it should pop up for you, no problem. Tweet us at Pit Piledriver. You can get to the other three schmucks individually on their Twitter handles. And I don't have a Twitter, so you can follow me on Instagram if you want, Casual Gaming Dad 84. I'm getting there, Poot. Relax. Your sponsors got it. Your sponsors got it, okay? You may be holding that foam belt, but right now I'm running the show. Anyways. And don't forget, as always, to message any of your trivia questions to us for the Stump the Chump segment of the podcast at Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast at gmail.com. And another thing that you can message to that very same email address is the AMA questions. We are going to have an AMA session coming up here on Saturday whenever we go up to the Clearfield for the IWC Clearfield X show. So make sure, if you have any questions for us, it doesn't have to be wrestling related. Just ask us anything. There's a pinned post on Facebook. You can tweet them to us. You can DM us on Instagram. You can message, send an email, whatever. But ask us anything. Get to know the guys behind the P3 podcast here. And that is going to wrap things up. So I don't want to take up too much of anybody else's time. The Steelers and Ravens are in overtime, tied at 23 apiece. And so I'm going to go watch that. And you all have a lovely rest of the day. For the Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast, I am Tigerbomb Tom, Uppercut, signing off. Have a good night, folks.